Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and I've been spending the weekend out with the F850 GS just south here of Death Valley National Park. Panamint Valley is where we're at. We've got the F350, we've got the Yamaha YDX Moro we've been playing on with as well, and some beautiful, breathtaking views and roads and scenery, all of which we've been exploring on the F850. This is an awesome setup to have on the back of your truck. I've got the motorcycle carrier right here. The bike is about 500 pounds and that motorcycle carrier is rated to 600, so it's still a small enough bike that you can put it on the truck. Even just myself, I was able to load it up myself and head out here and take it down myself and then go out and do some sort of riding. And of course, with the spoked wheels and big compliant electronically adjustable suspension and a pretty potent parallel twin motor here, this thing is really a do-it-all sort of bike for this sort of riding. So today we're gonna head out, we're gonna explore some of the trails in those mountains that way. I did some Death Valley riding yesterday, saw some of the main things to see, but today I think we're gonna mess around a little bit outside of the park. Before we get started, quick shout out to realtruck.com. They're sponsoring this video because they helped me get out here and helped life be more enjoyable in the Super Duty. Now you can see videos on the Super Duty, got a whole bunch linked down below, but Real Truck is a site for all of your truck and off-roading and kind of 4x4 sort of needs made here in the US, and they hit me up with these floor guards from Husky, these floor liners, so trying to keep the truck clean a little bit out here in the desert. And this road that we're about to ride out here is really rutted out and rough and washboarded. We're miles and miles off the main road, and fortunately it wasn't quite so bad because I've got some new shocks from Real Truck as well. So I picked up some Bilstein 4600s right there, and I was really impressed by how quickly they shipped out. I mean, obviously you can buy shocks from all over the place, but getting them from Real Truck, I got them within like 2 days of placing the order, so that was pretty cool. What else? Do we have any other Real Truck stuff on here? Oh, of course, the bed rug. The bed rug, which enables me to do these sort of camping trips and makes it a lot cozier and nicer in here. You can see I've got my bed set up. It's a little bit messy right now, all my various things, but this bed rug that I picked up from Real Truck is kind of a durable carpet. You can power wash it, you can have it out in the elements, but if you're doing sort of a truck bed camping setup like this, my bins slide nice and easy. And when I'm getting in there without shoes on or anything, it is nice and kind of quieter, more cozy. And I can vacuum it out when I get home as well. So that's definitely nice to have. So if you have some sort of adventure 4x40 sort of vehicle and you need to get more things, check out Real Truck. There's a link below. I'll get some compensation and some acknowledgement. You'll get some stuff, I think, with a little bit of a discount. Yeah, thank you to Real Truck. But back to the BMW. I've had this bike for about a month and a half now. I've been riding it in all sorts of situations, and it is a great kind of have-at-home daily rider sort of bike. You've got features like the heated hand grips, the optional heated seat, these saddlebags, which open up really easy, and then you just slam them closed. Very easy to do, easy to get off as well. And I've got a phone mount right here that wirelessly charges my phone. Got the big TFT display, quick adjustable windshield from the factory. Pops right up. Usually have it in the up position, but it's been winter, so been needing to stay a little bit warmer. I've really enjoyed having the bike around. It's kind of the luxury version of my V-Strom. I was a V-Strom 650 owner for a long time, and this costs, maybe $5,000 or $6,000 more than a V-Strom 650, but you feel the improvements in the suspension, you feel the extra power, and really the weight isn't any heavier either, and it looks the part too. So without any further ado, let me don my gear and let's get exploring. One thing I'm just noticing now, after coming in last night and now heading back out this morning, is when you have the bike in enduro mode, to off-road ride mode, it stays in there until the next turn on. I would think it would just go back to its default setting. That's kind of cool. You can turn off your stability control right there. Now this bike, as you see it, is exactly how it comes from the factory. Same tires, suspension, everything like that. So I'm gonna head up onto the road. I actually don't have my microphone in the helmet for this ride. I want to just kind of enjoy it. Having the mic in there adds a whole extra element of video production. So I'm gonna drop a little time lapse in here. We're gonna get off the main road and see what else we can explore. Look at this. Can you believe it? Ah, look, that's is that the road we took up? Holy cow, it is. That is awesome. Wow. And it goes all the way down. You can see it snaking up through the other side. Went there yesterday. Gotta love a bike that you could do triple digits on the straight roads and then come up into this pea gravel and just switch a few ride modes and away you go. That is awesome. Stopped here in Lone Pine, California. Beautiful mountains right above us. The F850 doing fantastic. Rode through some of that fast stuff you saw, the twisties. Didn't really get to do as much dirt adventuring as I planned on tonight, or today really. And obviously it's starting to get dark, so we should head back to camp. Gonna be doing some night riding, so we'll report on that, but we got fuel, we've got some dinner, and gonna get back to camp. I gotta say, guys, after what we've been through today and this weekend, I am thoroughly impressed by the F850. I brought patch kits, I brought all sorts of emergency gear. I just expected something to go wrong, whether it be after running this thing at high speeds for hundreds of miles or after doing some of those really sharp, rocky areas. I mean, what are these, Michelin Aniki 3s? These are not dual sport tires. I mean, these are more street oriented tires and they really do handle the street well. But oh my gosh, I mean, you see some of this footage. We were running rough rocks and I ran it hard. I'm just thoroughly impressed. I really am. The weight wasn't an issue. The bike was comfortable. I put so many hours in the seat. Tire is starting to get a little rounded off in the middle. Probably gonna need a replacement before all too long. But boy, what a great machine for this sort of riding. So I'm gonna get the bike back to home base. We're gonna throw it back on the carrier here, and then I'll wrap up some of my thoughts with you later this week. Got the F850 GS back here. We got it all cleaned up, and we got just another few days with it here, wrapping up my time and my thoughts with the bike. I said a little bit more of this when I was out on the trip, but it wasn't really the right recording atmosphere to really enunciate, and I wanted to take a little bit more time to sit and think on the bike anyway, and kind of wrap up my thoughts here. But I really am impressed by this motorcycle. I am. If you're someone who's in the market for a regular, everyday, usable adventure sort of bike, this really does check about all the boxes I can think of. Yes, BMW has the new R1300 GS, but that's going to cost so much more money. It's going to weigh a little bit more. Yeah, it's going to make more power, but I don't think there was a single time where I felt like I needed more power on this bike. I guess the only thing I could see is maybe if you're going to be doing a lot of two-up touring and really pack this thing down, then I could see the advantage of having that extra power, and then at that point the weight's not really going to be an issue either. So a little extra weight's not going to be the end of the world. But for what you're getting at this price point, looking at this bike, about $16,000-$17,000 compared to some of the competition that, yeah, gives you most of the things but doesn't do it quite as well, and it does have you skimping out on a few items, BMW will give it to you right here with the F850. So let's go for one last little ride here, talk about the bike, and wrap up our thoughts. The side cases have been really nice, using them on the trip and then just for day-to-day sort of usage. And it's just nice how easily they come off too. You hit this, pull that up, that, and off they are, and you can ride naked. And a lot of times when I'm just going out for a casual weekend sort of rip and I don't need anything in the cases, I take them off because they're not light. I'm sure you're saving 30 pounds or so by removing them from the bike. And it's nice that they're so easy to do. And put them back on. That goes down. This goes down, close. There you are. And if you want to open them right here, again, very easy to do. Someone who's going to be doing some real hardcore adventure riding is probably going to want metal cases, but I've been fine with those ones. And I think this might be, I guess it's all kind of plasticky. A nice big top rack, of course, included for you as well to put a case or tie some things down. Nice having some wind protection for your hands. I definitely notice that when I go back to a bike without hand guards. Even just these flimsy plastic ones, they do a lot to deflect air off your hands, keep them from getting cold. Seat comfort's been good. I like the styling. If I did have to improve anything with the ergos, I'd like for some sort of better phone mounting system. I haven't been able to reliably and quickly and easily and confidently mount up my Google Pixel 8 Pro, larger 6.7-inch screen phone right into here. I think I was able to do a smaller iPhone SE fairly easily, but I'm glad they have a wireless charging solution and a way to have your phone right out in front of you instead of the GPS unit. That's also optional here, but it's some better way to open and close it would be welcomed. I don't think you all understand how nice it is to have digital key as well, not having to take a key out, especially when you got gloves on and you got to fish a key out from whatever pocket in all of your jackets and gear and everything and find it and put it in. I know it sounds minor, but if you're getting on and off the bike multiple times in a day, like a commuter or a road trip sort of situation, it's nice to be able to just pop that on and press the button. Very easy. Coming off of some of the simpler ADV bikes that I've had recently, the upgraded suspension has been so welcomed as well. Because the Transalp 750 and the V-Strom 800, they've got fine and good enough suspensions. I was never uncomfortable on the bike. But then when you get on something like this, it's just that much better and electronically adjustable to compensate for a passenger, for different sorts of riding. It makes the bike that much more enjoyable to be on for a long period of time. Suspension is one of those things that when it's good, you almost don't notice it, but then when it's not great, you start to notice. I would love to hear what this bike would sound like with a little bit of an aftermarket exhaust going. The motor power is perfect for me. It pulls strong, it's comfortable all over the rev range, very nice and approachable and easy to use. I could go for a little bit more character from the sound and a little bit more of a manic pull up at the top end. A lot of engines that we get on these days, like the Transalp, it feels like it's really coming online up in the upper revs. This power band is not super inspiring. You kind of get off the line here and I mean, it really gets up to speed. I'm going just over the speed limit here, but there's nothing about it that's really encouraging me to get up into those higher revs. And I think I know from having my V-Strom 650, another bike that didn't encourage you to get up into higher revs, once I did put an exhaust on there, it was so much more fun to just ring it out, and all over the rev range, the bike had more character. The height of this bike has been nice too. There are other ADV bikes that really make you tower over the ground and you're kind of on your tippy toes. Me at 5'10", been able to just put my feet down nicely at the stoplights and come down. Even doing the slower speed, more intense riding that we were doing up in the park, the height didn't feel insurmountable to me. Let's talk about cruise control for a moment. Admittedly, I have not used it a ton while I've had this bike, but the fact that we do have it seems borderline necessary to me with a bike with electronic throttle control. If you got throttle by wire, it's kind of inexcusable not to offer cruise control. Looking at you, Suzuki and Honda. So what it really results in is just the fact that when I do want to use the cruise control, I have it right there and I can go, thanks BMW for including it on the bike. Admittedly, there have been times where I've been cruising on those wide open roads up in Death Valley, and having the cruise control has actually kept me from speeding as much because I've been able to just tone it down and set the cruise at a reasonable speed. And if I'm not running cruise control, I'm more tempted to keep twisting my right hand and get going quicker and quicker. If I owned the bike, I would end up throwing a larger windshield on here. Yes, it's nice to have the adjustable height built right in, but I'm the type that wants a really large windshield that I can practically ride with my shield open, my face shield open around city streets if I wanted to, and just very easy on the, it just really blocks out the wind. It's not exactly a fault on the bike, it's just more of a personal preference. So windshield and an exhaust, and this would be an excellent daily rider sort of bike for me, and what I think is one of the best one bike solutions on the market right now, especially if you plan on doing a degree of adventure riding or some degree of dirt riding. If you can afford more than one motorcycle and you have the space and you can justify having more than one, I don't really see going for this bike, because I figure you'll have probably something more like a dual sport or a dedicated off-roader type of bike, and then you can have more of a street-oriented bike as well. Maybe you do one of the F850s, but you don't do the adventure model. You keep it a little cheaper and don't worry about all the off-road bits and protection. And I mean, BMW will give you a lot of other bikes kind of in this category that will be more enjoyable to ride on kind of a daily basis. But if you can only justify having one bike in the house, or it's a spacing, or maybe it's just a personal preference, maybe you don't want to have to be worrying about maintenance for more than one bike, or kind of the hassle, or just the decision making of which one do I ride. This, to me, is one of the most compelling bikes in this middleweight adventure category from anything I've ridden. I would pay the extra money over the Suzuki, and probably over the Honda as well. The Honda makes a little bit of a harder apples to apples comparison because that bike is so much lighter and simpler, and you can get it for a good deal less. So if I were to buy a Transalp, then I'd be taking that $10,000 purchase price, I'd be paying for cruise control somewhere in the aftermarket, I'd be putting more dirt focused tires on there, putting an exhaust, trying to keep it decently light, and I'd have a kind of a more dual sporty sort of bike. I guess there's the Honda Africa Twin as well, and I don't really see why you'd do the Africa Twin over this one. I mean, you're getting a little bit more power, maybe it looks a little bit cooler, but you're still dealing with a lot of weight, and I've heard the Africa Twin has its weight really high up. And if you're getting similar feature set on the Africa Twin, you're looking at similar prices. For me, between the warranty and the use of regular gasoline and the electronics suite, the comfort, the suspension, I would be very compelled by the BMW. Cool, well thank you all so much for watching. BMW F850 GS Venture Trophy here. A bike I did not expect to like as much as I do. If you do want to see more on the bike, check the link below. We got our fuel economy test where it did pretty darn well, and our Winding Road day drive. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, ride on.